Well, hello there, panelist, and welcome once again to the Cpconfidential chair. Now, the question of the day is, in this day and age, do you still think prenups are necessary? Let's get the conversation started.
I don't think they're relevant, but I understand if somebody wants to hit their partner with the prenup, simply because I think a lot of our society is money hungry and power hungry. So I do believe that somebody could just marry somebody just for their money and then leave, and they could end up taking it all. So no, I don't think it's relevant. I don't really think you need it if you marry a person for them, not for their money. But if you are that type of person who has a lot of money and you just don't know if your spouse will do that, then yeah, you could, but where's the trust? I don't know. It's kind of a iffy topic for me. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't hit my fiance with a prenup, even if I was a billionaire, quadrillionaire. I don't see the purpose of it. But if my fiance was to hit me with a prenup, would I still marry him? Yeah.
As many things are, I think everything is, it's on a case-by-case situation. I think when we think prenups, we think of people who are rich. Most people aren't rich. Most people are just, they're living a normal life or whatever. I feel like if you're in that situation, what's the point of getting a prenup? I feel like it only kind of, if I were to ask my wife to get my fiance to, sign a prenup, I feel like that already kind of sets the precedent for the marriage. It's saying that I don't think it's going to, not that I don't think it's going to work, but I'm having doubts. Whatever, you can argue that it's a realistic viewpoint, but I feel like if you have faith in the relationship, you know what I'm saying, just go with it. I feel like it's offensive if I can see how my fiance be really, you know what I'm saying, it's off-putting. I wouldn't want somebody to ask me for a prenup, so I probably wouldn't do it.
How do you even present that to somebody for real? That's really the question. You just sit on the table and just slide the paper over there, where you're like, hey, so want to take a look at that paper real quick? I think that's just weird. It's kind of you telling me, like Mo said earlier, I'm not really sure how this relationship's going to work out. So in the event that we do break up, get divorced, I'm taking all my money. Yeah, I think that's kind of fucked up.
I don't see why people are getting their panties in a bunch because of signing some papers. Whether you want to face it or not, when you marry somebody, it's a business transaction. I don't care about, love is great. That's great. I want to fall in love and be married love the person that I marry, obviously. But if I got money and you got money, we don't know the future. People have been together for 15 years, even without a commitment, still break, a legal commitment, still break up. But 15 years in a relationship, that's a long ass time. That's basically a marriage too. So you never know. You just never know. And I feel if I'm just signing some papers just to protect my interests, and our interest, because eventually if we do sign a prenup, we know that God forbid if anything should happen and we break up, then it's already settled. We already know, what's what. We don't have to go through the painful and drama of a divorce. Nobody wants to go through a painful drama of divorce. So let's sign the prenup. Let's know what's up and call it a day.
Why are you asking for a prenup? That's suggesting you're not about to be here for too long. And the fact that we're talking about having marriages as business transactions, that's just made me feel like you are all about the money, and you know what I'm saying, it's just not the way to do things. And you have to understand that it's not a must that you have to get married. There are certain things called cohabitation where you can live with your boyfriend and girlfriend. You don't have to have marriage. You can just live with your boyfriend and girlfriend and have your own thing. You have my own thing, you have your own thing, and keep living life like that. But marriage is not a must.
Idara said something that kind of it threw me off. I was like, what? She said a marriage is a business transaction. Look at what she said there. That kind of mentality is just crazy to me. It's how do we get to a place where we start seeing a marriage as a business transaction? That's crazy. Do you hear yourself?
But a business transaction though? If that's the way our parents thought about it and our grandparents thought about it, They wouldn't even think about it that way, first of all. Let's just get out of the way. But honestly, what's the meaning of that rubbish? Business transaction. Are you fucking Dangote?
What people need to understand is that signing a prenup doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean that I don't intend to stay long term in this relationship. It just means in case something should happen, this is a contingency. By the time I get married, by the time I'm ready to get married, I expect to already have worked and, I should be wealthy by then, inshallah. As well as I expect my partner to be as well. Whether she is what she is and she's richer than me or I'm richer than her, I don't think at the point, if anything should happen down the line, one person or the other all of a sudden has to lose maybe half of what they work for. We might be equally wealthy, but because of the scenario, maybe you get to take half of what I got. So now half of what I've worked in my life is gone.
Fam, everybody is pissed though. Okay, all right. First of all, let's backtrack a little bit, right? Okay. So I think Aisha said something about like our parents' last thing or something. Let me just try to tackle everybody's like, comeback. It was a lot to digest. So she said something about like parents and stuff lasting and things like that. Okay, I get in a situation where your mom or maybe your dad, though that would be rare in a Nigerian household, didn't work and was, stayed at home and stuff like that. I understand that, obviously. Yes, if God forbid if the marriage was to, go south, you would want like whoever, because at some point, like you have to admit that like being a stay-at-home mom or dad is a lot of hard work. Like you're raising children, you're doing everything, like that's work. That is work. So yes, God forbid the marriage should go south. Yes, I feel like that person should get their own fair share. Now, if the case is different and it's like both parties are entering into a marriage where both partners are equal or whatever, not equal, but like you get what I'm saying, like equally wealthy and they both have like interests to protect. I don't see anything wrong in signing a goddamn paper. Like, it's a paper to protect your interests because as individuals, you grow in every relationship and every stage of your life. You're constantly growing. You're constantly changing. And at some point, that may bring a clash and conflict into your relationship. And unfortunately, it will probably lead south, and that's when it comes in and it'll help you out instead of going through like so many like trials and tribulations trying to end it. You already know what's what and who gets what and how it's gonna be solved. I don't know why it's such a thing to say, or it's a problem to say, okay, like I'm entering into a relationship, this might work, this might not work. Why is that such a bad thing?
You join everything together. Your money, your finances. When you have kids, that's going to be joint. Like, everything is just a joint thing. So for someone to hit me with a prenup, I don't think that means I don't love you, because life happens. Like, you guys could have a nasty divorce, and for me, he could want to take all my money, or the other way around, or maybe he doesn't. And like in a prenup, you can assign what you want somebody to take. Or like it doesn't have to be like, oh, you leave with nothing, I leave with nothing. Like if you guys have an agreement, you put that in the prenup. And like with the whole your parents and our grandparents and stuff, like I don't know if people nowadays are so into this fairy tale of how a marriage is, but a marriage is hard work. For our grandparents to stay together for 60 plus years, honestly, I've had older people, especially older women, tell me it was because the stigma of leaving your husband. Not because they didn't want to leave their husband. Like, they were stuck in a marriage and they had no money. They had no way to do it. They signed they couldn't leave. They were basically forced to stay. So I think that if somebody wants to give a prenup, maybe you and your spouse could talk about it before. But like, I don't see why it's this big fiasco. It's money. Like, honestly, I would want to protect my money too, but that's just me.
It's extremely unfortunate that prenups are a thing because it insinuates that there could be a divorce or like a breakup or something. But prenups to me are almost like making a will. Like, you don't intend to die, or like you don't look forward to dying, but you have to make a will in order to like secure your things. Just like for a prenup, you have to create a prenup to secure your assets if you guys were to divorce. So I feel like prenups could be similar to a will in that sense, and so they're necessary. Me personally, like, I wouldn't get a prenup. I mean, I feel like if I'm going to enter a marriage, I wouldn't want to keep thinking like, oh, well, if we divorce, like, I'm going to get some money. Kind of like what Janet Jackson did once 5 years hit. She got, like, most of half of, like, his income, like her husband's income. And I just feel like I would be more towards, like, the love aspect. And I know, like, money is strong, but I wouldn't plan on, like, marrying somebody that's not, like, at least around the same, like, I mean, in reality, that's not really like my main goal or like mindset. So no, I don't believe in prenups.
It is really hard to tell. I feel like right now, before I could have said prenups are not necessary. Like I don't need to, like present a prenup. But the way things are going these days, people are getting crazy. Girls are getting crazy. Some girl will get married for like 2, 3, 4 years and just dip, which like half of your money. Like things are just so many crazy things going on. So. If I was to be like a boxed up guy, if I had money, I would definitely do it. Because you just don't know like what's happening. There's so many like girls just doing things for banter these days, and so many myth marriages. You get me.
I don't know why it's getting so much negative coverage. Prenups involve having your financial set up, your assets set up, so each partner knows exactly where each other's money's going. So it could be an awkward conversation talking about it. But just like, for example, having an STD test, that's something that's in a relationship. And it's an awkward conversation sometimes to bring that up. But having that set up and knowing for sure this is how this is, in reality, I think that's the best way to go. Another example is like health insurance. Like why do we get health insurance? Because things happen that we may not know would happen. So we have that set up prior, so you're proactive. So when things come to worse, you're prepared.
I just think it's really odd. Very, very weird. Carry stupid paper and you want me to sign it. And then with the Nigerian mindset of guys, they will now think that, oh, she doesn't want to sign it, meaning she's a gold digger. You're a bastard for thinking I'm a gold digger. First of all, that's number one. Let's now say maybe you already had the money before I now came in. Maybe I can think about that. Maybe I can give you reason. But let's say we grew together. I helped you with this wealth. You now want to give me stupid pen and paper to sign. See, the slap I will give you, that I will bombard you with, I swear, even your mother gone self, she would think like, shit, did I make a mistake here with this reason? You're really just rubbish. Tell me, what nonsense is that? Seriously. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. It just does not make sense. You need to cancel that out of your mindset. Not a business transaction.
And everybody's getting, business transaction, oh my God, it's such a harsh word, it's so harsh. My friend, grow up. This is real life. Like, it's real life, Aisha. Grow the fuck up. You're like, at a certain point, like, you're gonna reach a state, like, let me just tell you now, marriage, you when you marry that person, healthcare, businesses, everything is all join, like, you have to, so you just have to know that there are certain things that you have to be wise about as an adult. Like, okay, if this happens, what next?
I think it just takes two mature individuals to talk about it. And I feel like you shouldn't get into a relationship until you're mature enough to talk about those types of things. So yeah, now I definitely feel like prenups are necessary just because you never know. Like, you can't tell the future. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, I was in a relationship at one point in my life for like almost 2 years. And of course, at one point I thought I was going to marry him, but shit happens, so you just never know.
These days, a lot of people are, have the mentality that these marriages are business dealings or whatever she said earlier. But I think going into a marriage, you should know who you're with. I feel like personally, if I'm going to get married with somebody, that's why you have to date somebody for a long time. I feel like you have to know the person, break up a few times, know their ins and outs. If you just, go, fall in love head over heels with somebody and just get married to them and you don't get a prenup, chances are you're going to take an L. That's most likely going to happen. But if you've been with somebody for some time and you know the dynamic or whatever, I still, the prenup, yeah, it's cool. Everybody knows it's a good idea to get a prenup. But I feel like if it was going to cause some type of tension between you and your, spouse, or it's going to, cause some type of, distrust, then yeah, I think you can overlook it. So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, know who you're with, know the relationship, and I think you'll be all right.
There are a list of things you can have on a prenup. I think a lot of people are just assuming that a prenup is just saying you're gonna, if we break up, you're not gonna get anything, and I'm gonna keep all my shit. On a prenup, you can state, when we split, you can get 45, you can get 50%, or you can get on a prenup. You decide, money, you decide whatever debt, how that's gonna be handled, with your cars, your houses, whatever you have, how you separate it, things you do when you break or when you have a divorce and you go to law or to the court and you decide all these things. Now, people shouldn't see a prenup as a negative. This is just something, hey, and if your spouse is thinking that, hey, you don't trust me, all right, this is a grown-up discussion. We're discussing. I'm not saying I don't trust you, but I'm saying that in light, if something happens that, we both have to go our separate ways, how do we want to handle that? It doesn't mean that one person has to go broke because somebody did something wrong or we just didn't vibe. So I think people need to have a more understanding, a better understanding of what a prenup is, and not to just assume that you want me to sign this piece of paper, you don't love me.
I don't think that anybody goes into a marriage thinking that this isn't going to last. I don't think that at all. I think we all hope for the best. And the hope is that when you sign a prenup, you're just signing a piece of paper that you're never going to have to look at ever again. But my thing is that, just because people are people and human beings are human beings, love is messy, life is messy, you just have to be prepared. And my hope is that if there was ever a situation where I was signing a prenup, it's just that's going to be a piece of paper that I'm never going to have to look at again. It's just going to be there, whatever, because I hope that my marriage is going to, last forever. But just because life is crazy and life happens, as, Aisha said, you never know. And you don't want to, God forbid, get into a divorce and then you're trying to figure out who's going to pay the mortgage for the $250,000 house you two got together. You're trying to figure out, alimony. It's just so much that you wouldn't have to deal with. And it's just okay, yes, our marriage didn't work out, but here's the situation, and this is how we're gonna part ways, and we're parting, on good terms, and I wish you the best, and I hope for the best for you and whatever, and I'm glad we got to share this time together, but this is the situation. And that's that. I don't think, well, obviously if it works out and it's great, it's just a piece of paper then. It's just insurance. That's it. It's insurance. So it's not romantic, but it's necessary.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys checked out last week's episode. Make sure to email us at officialcpconfidential@gmail.com for topics that you would like us to discuss. And our social media links will be in the description box below. Thank you guys.
So word around town is that these people are not subscribed to our channel.
Yes, I heard that as well.
Why you not subscribed?
Make sure y'all subscribe to our channel.
Right over there. Right down below. That red button that's just beaming in your face, click it. Just go ahead and do it.